Today, Ludovic Klein moving on up at 55. His unbeaten streak is now 5 consecutive fights. All right, well, 12 men have tried. The whole dozen has failed when it comes to defeating Shamil Gazib in mixed martial arts. He told us in our fighter meeting, Darko Stosic gave him a stern test, but that still ended up as a first-round TKO for Gazib. Today, though, in Jairzinho Rozenstruik, he's hoping to level up against the consensus toughest opponent of his MMA career to date. In DC, you were here early working that telestrator. What do you have for us on Shamil Gazib?
I got Shamil Gazib, a guy that needs to pressure. He has got to find a way to get Jairzinho Rozenstruik going backwards. And when he does, he's got to do a really good job of finding his target, mixing up his target, but it has to all be behind feints. Watch. He goes up top after gauging the reactions of his opponent. Then the first punch goes up top. The second punch comes right down there up to the belly. Look at him sneaking under the elbow. Then he ends with the big right hand over the top. Now, guys, none of this combination landed clean. But what it does, it shows you the ability of Gazib to mix up the target. Now, watch this. As he watches his opponent in a defensive posture, he's got his eyes on him. He's got his hands up. It's almost a submissive position. Most fighters will start to fight and throw up top. Not Gazib. Watch him go to the body first. Once he digs his right hand to the body, now his opponent starts to go, okay, I got to start dropping my hands. I've got to be very aware. Now he can start to let the barrage go. He does a really good job of recognizing his attacks and taking what's presented to him.
And he became the first man to TKO Martin Buday. We'll see how it goes for Shamil Gazib in his first UFC main event later today from the Apex as he takes on the potent power puncher Jairzinho Rozenstruik. Also, Vitor Petrino versus Tyson Pedro in the co-main event. Main card is yours next, nice and early, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. All right, still a lot of prelim work to attend to, and to get you primed for the next fight, we send it over to Charlie Arnold. Charlie.
Thank you so much, John. Christian Leroy Duncan made his debut in the UFC less than a year ago, and this will be his 4th fight. He hopes to keep that momentum going with the goal to touch the middleweight rankings this year and then next year get all the way to the top. And his camp was spent around the best, training first in Thailand and then in Birmingham, England, aside Leon Edwards at Renegade. And his opponent, Claudio Ribeiro, also kicked off his UFC career early 2023, and this is also his 4th fight since. Ribeiro called this his best camp ever and spent much of his time working on his ground game. When he wasn't training, he was, listen to this, making jewelry. Yes, Claudio is a jewelry designer and says you can catch several of the guys in UFC wearing his bling. Stay tuned, this middleweight brawl is coming up next.
Live sports. ESPN Plus Originals.